You know that feeling, right? Your heart is pounding, your palms get all sweaty, you can't quite catch your breath. Maybe a car just swerved into your lane, or you're about to give a huge presentation. We all know that jolt of stress. For literally decades, we've just called it fight or flight. But what if I told you that's just the opening act of a much, much smarter and more complicated show? Let's dig into what's really happening inside your body.
To really get what's going on, you've got to meet the two main players in your body's stress response. Think of them as a team. First up, you've got epinephrine. You probably know it as adrenaline. This is your first responder. It's on the scene in seconds, giving you that immediate, powerful kick. But then there's cortisol. This is the follow-up manager. It's a bit slower, more strategic. Its job is to manage your body's energy and resources to handle whatever's happening for the long haul. See? It's not just one alarm bell. It's a coordinated, intelligent response.
Now, to appreciate just how far we've come, we need to rewind a bit. Let's take a look at the classic idea that pretty much dominated science for a century, the simple, powerful, but ultimately incomplete idea of fight or flight. Okay, so the story really starts with this core concept called homeostasis. It was coined by a physiologist named Walter B. Cannon, and the idea is actually pretty simple. Your body is always working to maintain balance. It's like your internal thermostat, right? It's keeping everything, your temperature, your blood sugar, all of it in a nice, stable, happy range. And the stress response, well, that was seen as the ultimate protector of this balance. And this is what led to Cannon's big idea. He believed that any threat to your body's balance, it didn't matter if it was a physical danger, like a predator, or just being out in the freezing cold, triggered the exact same all-purpose emergency response. He saw it as one single system that just flipped a switch for any and every kind of crisis.
Cannon's idea was huge, and it was soon picked up and expanded on by another giant in stress research, Hans Selye. And his work, well, it really cemented what we now call the great non-specific myth of the stress response.
So Selye gave us this concept of chronic stress with his three-stage model, the general adaptation syndrome. It all starts with the alarm reaction. That's basically your classic fight or flight. Then, if the stressor sticks around, you move into the stage of resistance, where your body adapts and tries to cope. But, and here's the key part, if that stress just keeps going, you hit the stage of exhaustion. That's where your resources get drained and you become vulnerable to getting sick.
And this quote right here, this really sums up the whole belief that Selye and Cannon shared. He defines stress as the non-specific response of the body to any demand upon it. The key word, the one that shaped everything, is non-specific. In their view, it just didn't matter what caused the stress. The body's reaction was always the same. But let's just stop for a second and think about that. Does that really make sense? I mean, is your body's deep chemical reaction to being freezing cold really the same as its response to the mental anxiety of a big deadline at work? Well, modern science started asking that exact question, and the answer turned out to be a total game changer.
Asking that question led to a complete revolution in how we see stress. It turns out our stress response isn't some clumsy, blunt instrument. Not at all. It's an incredibly sophisticated, finely tuned system that actually customizes its reaction to the specific problem it's facing. The new concept that blew the old myth out of the water is called primitive specificity. And it's pretty much exactly what it sounds like. Your body creates a specific hormonal response based on the primitive nature of the threat. It's not just yanking a single fire alarm for every little thing. It's dispatching the exact right emergency crew for that specific situation.
And hey, the proof is right here in the data. Just look at these two different scenarios. On one side, you have cold exposure. That causes a huge spike in norepinephrine. But on the other side, you've got low blood sugar, hypoglycemia. That triggers a totally different set of hormones, a surge in epinephrine and ACTH. These are completely different hormonal fingerprints, which proves the response is tailored, not generic.
So how in the world does the body pull off such a precise, customized response? Well, the command and control center for this whole operation is this powerful communication network called the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis, or for short, the HPA axis. This little diagram shows you exactly how it works. It's this beautiful cascade of signals. It starts up in your brain, in the hypothalamus. That sends a signal down to the pituitary gland. The pituitary then releases its own hormone, ACTH, into your bloodstream. ACTH then travels all the way down to your adrenal glands, which sit right on top of your kidneys, and gives the order, release cortisol. It's this precise chain of command that makes the whole tailored response possible. But of course, you can't have a system this powerful without a safety switch, right? What stops it from just running wild forever? The answer is a brilliant bit of biological design called a negative feedback loop. It's basically the system's built-in off switch.
You know, the best way to get this is to go back to that thermostat idea. When the room gets warm enough, the thermostat tells the furnace to shut down. The HPA axis works exactly the same way. When the levels of cortisol in your blood get high enough, that cortisol itself sends a message back to the brain saying, "Okay, we're good. Turn down the heat." It's how your body brilliantly brings itself back into balance.
So this whole system is just exquisitely designed for short-term crises. It evolved to save us from immediate physical threats. But what happens in our modern world, where the stressors aren't lions, but endless emails and traffic jams? What's the long-term price we pay for being in a constant state of adaptation?
This brings us to two really crucial modern terms. On the one hand, you have allostasis. That's the process of finding stability through change. It's your body's incredible ability to adapt. But when you're forced to adapt constantly over and over, that leads to allostatic load. And that's the cumulative wear and tear on your body from being stuck in that overdrive mode. It's quite literally the price of chronic stress.
And to really see the damage this does, you just have to look at our body's natural rhythm. This graph shows how our cortisol levels are supposed to follow this nice, predictable 24-hour cycle. It should be highest in the morning to get us going, and lowest at night so we can rest and repair. Allostatic load is what happens when chronic stress just flattens that beautiful curve, disrupting this essential rhythm by keeping the system switched on all the time.
And the long-term consequences of that wear and tear? They're severe. A high allostatic load is directly linked to some of the most serious health problems we face, like high blood pressure, heart and kidney failure, even stroke. This is the very real physical price our bodies pay for being in a constant state of high alert. So if there's one thing to really take away from all this, it's this. Your stress response isn't some clumsy, simple alarm bell. It's a finely tuned, intelligent instrument designed to meet very specific challenges with a very specific response. It's a system designed to protect you, but it's also one that can be worn down by being overused. Which leaves us with a final thought. Now that you know this, how will you help your system stay in tune?